All right, y'all, what is up and welcome back. Welcome back. So today we got a video that's been going around on TikTok, and it pretty much involves a lady who's married to a guy who works two jobs. He works an excess amount of hours per week. I think she said around 64 or something like that. But on his one day off, he doesn't want to do anything. He wants to sit at home. He wants to chill, probably eat Doritos and play video games. He wants to relax on his day off and have a day of leisure, while she wants to go out with the family and have a day on the town and enjoy the weather, things like that. So we have two conflicting sides here. I want to play this video for you, and then I want to talk about it. First, this young lady's name is MEHRX on TikTok. So if you want to, make sure you go follow her. But let's hear what she has to say.
So here's the thing. My husband works two jobs, and he works 64 hours a week. Has like one day off. And within that one day, I want him to go outside with us, like me, Sophie, and him. And I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us. But I don't want that. I want us to be outside. And I'm upset with him because we don't go outside and do activities as a family. Am I being reasonable, or am I being a bad wife?
And that's pretty much the sum of the video there. A lot to unpack with this one, because I know for a fact there are a lot of people in a similar situation right now where a man is working excess amount of hours, to make sure the household is taken care of. And the woman may be working part-time, or she may just not be employed, but there's an imbalance of time being spent outside and doing recreational activities and having fun, because one person is so weighed down mentally and physically by having to work so much. And there's even some people that only work one job that are still weighed down like this. And it's not exclusive to men. There are women that work like this whilst their man is just, working part-time or just not working at all. And there's also an imbalance there too. But it's especially special for the man's circumstance, because this is traditionally what men do. Now, when a woman is working tons of hours and a man's just sitting there, that's not really a traditional lifestyle. That's more of a new age type of thing that we're just experiencing, in the last 50, maybe to 100 years, maybe. But traditionally, the man is supposed to bear the brunt of the labor of bringing home the bacon and making sure the household is secured and paid for. And one of the responsibilities is putting that before anything else. When I say putting that before anything else, I mean provision, protection, and providing that financial resource so that the family can carry on doing their day-to-day activities, going out to Disney World or Six Flags or whatever they want to do. Your job is to secure that household so that they can do that. Now, your responsibilities aren't to go with them out to these places. I'm sorry. I'm gonna side with the guy and say, yes, young lady, and I don't even want to call her wrong, but I just want to say she has a small misplaced judgment in what she should do with her husband. Because yes, if you work that many hours a week, which 64, honestly, I think 64 hours is kind of average, to be honest with you. The way the economy is, I know a lot of people that work two jobs. I work one job and I've worked 64 hours in a week before. That's another walk in the park. But I have a different line of profession. I don't know what profession this guy is in. He could be in a physical labor profession. I'm an insurance professional, so my job is a lot different. It's more, clerical work and just being on the phone with insurance companies and things like that. So, he could have a labor intensive job in which 64 hours could physically drown you during the week. But this is one thing I want people to realize, is your responsibilities as a man are to make sure they can do these things. They are not to go do these things with them. Okay. If he wants to work all those hours and sit home and play Call of Duty and eat Hot Pockets all day, he has earned the right to do so. You should be satisfied that your man is willing to put in that time and effort, because there are so many men, and you can ask the women out here, there are so many men who do not take on this responsibility. There are so many men who choose just not to have a family out of avoiding this kind of responsibility because they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with having to please their boss, having to please their other boss, and then come home and having to please you by going out with you to different places on the weekends when all they want to do is just sit there and relax. Now, she didn't mention her own financial status. I'm not sure if, for all we know, she could be working two jobs as well. But it seems like she has a lot of energy for someone, that's working two jobs if she is. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's probably singularly employed, or maybe she's working part-time, or maybe even she doesn't have a job. She stays home and take care of the kids, which is still partly a job, but it's not as labor intensive as being out in the field and actually having to do laborious work like a man. Let's just be honest with you. Okay, let's just be honest. So honestly, I think she should cut her man some slack in this situation. I don't think that she's thinking about what he's going through mentally. And a lot of it is mental. I mean, I talk about the physical a lot when it comes to laborious work that men have to go and men have to do and men have to put up with. But a lot of that laborious work boils down to your mental status. It's just like, weightlifting or any kind of physical activity. Half of it is your body and half of it is your mind. I'm going to say 60%, honestly, is your mindset. If your mind is not right, your body will follow. So he's going through a lot mentally. And he can't just, walk off on the job. He can't just, I saw an episode of Everybody Hates Chris one day where we all know Chris Rock's dad worked two jobs in the show, right? And then the mom, she decided to get a job one day and she didn't really value the jobs that she was working. She was just like, whatever, my man works two jobs. Like she had that nonchalant attitude because she knew at the end of the day, all the bills were taken care of. Now, as a man, if you're doing your job in that household, you can't have that attitude at work. You are the first and last line of defense in that household. I mean, yeah, your woman can have a savings and have an auxiliary fund just in case times get hard. But as a man, you do not want your woman to use her auxiliary fund to hold down the household. You don't want her to have to go out and get a job working for somebody to hold down the household. Ideally, you want to be able to do that by yourself. Now, I know we got 50-50 couples out here, and if 50-50 works best for you, that works best for you. I come from a more traditional background, so I prefer to hold down my household alone whilst my woman is living with me, and then she's able to move about how she wants to move about. That's just how I prefer, because that's how I saw my father treat my mother as I was growing up. A lot of this stuff is generational. We usually do what our parents do. I'm not gonna lie. So when you have situations like that or 50-50s, you end up seeing that type of dynamic to where no one wants to do anything, honestly, because everybody's busting their ass. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's trying to put their best foot forward. But I sentiment with this guy because I can feel it. He's doing everything he can to not only keep peace of mind, but keep that household together. And like I said, I think this young lady should cut him some slack. I think she should bring the entertainment to him. Honestly, I think she should figure out a creative way to bring that entertainment home, to bring outside home. Maybe decorate the back porch so you guys can spend a day out on the back patio and just, you guys can grill, hang out, put a projector up, have a movie night in the backyard. There's so many options other than going to other establishments and spending money. Now, I do hope that he eventually gets out the house. I hope that he goes out and has fun with his family, because that's what he should do. But in no way should he be required to leave the house every weekend. He should be able to sit in that house as long as he wants to. He's paying for that house. He's probably paying for the food. He's paying for the lifestyle and the provisions for that family. So by all means, he has earned this. And so I hope this helps somebody, because I know we got a lot of people in similar positions. And I know we have a lot of people that, like I said, they work two jobs and it is hard. I've worked two jobs before. I know how mentally draining it could be to clock out at one job and then drive to your other job, clock in, and have to go through that all over again, then come home and get 4 hours of sleep and jump right back in the mix. I know how that is. It's one of the worst feelings ever, because you feel like you're on a never ending hamster wheel and you have no time to chill. So I sent him in with the guy. As for the young lady, give him his time, give him his space. He needs that to stay sane. As a man, you do need that time alone. You need that time to unwind. You need that time to unpack. You need that time to revisit who you are. Oftentimes in our careers, at our jobs as men, we aren't the people that we are outside our jobs. So if we keep putting on a mask and that mask ends up becoming permanent, we're going to lose sight of who we are. We need that time to unwind and unpack and be the people that we are outside of our workplace. So like I said, I hope this helps somebody. And I want to know what you think about this. Make sure you write a comment. And as always, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.